There definitely is hard days. My least favorite part would be
back to Teaching with Tania. I'm Tania, of course, and I have a fellow ELA teacher. Want to introduce yourself?
I am Miss S. I teach 4th grade ELA and social studies. I am Miss S. I teach 4th grade ELA and social studies.
And I'm 3rd grade ELA social studies. So we're going to get into all the ELA questions and teacher-related questions that you guys want to know. So starting off, what made you get into teaching?
I knew I always wanted to do something with kids and with teaching. My first major in college, like fresh out when I was 18, was education. But then like not really knowing what I wanted to do, I like flip-flop back and forth, and I ended up graduating with political science. Just like knowing that I wanted to like make a difference and like make an impact in the world. I ended up working in behavioral health after that for 3 years, and that really like put me like right in schools with kids.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to like do what like the teachers are doing. Like I want to like be up front in the classroom and like do like a little bit more of, you know, the front work instead of the behind the scenes work. So then I applied to TN, the new teacher program, and yeah.
Nice. She's a killer at lesson plans. I'm trying to be on her level. What has been your favorite part of teaching so far?
My favorite part is definitely like the relationships with students. You know, like they're really funny, like they can make you laugh. Just like building that relationship, watching it go from like nothing, like them looking at me like, who is this person, you know, like in front of me, to, you know, having those jokes, like getting the hugs in the morning, everything like that. It is really meaningful, and that like makes my day every day.
Literally, be priced. They look at you like, oh, what do you want and why are you here? I still sometimes get those stares like, what are we doing?
Exactly.
But yeah, relationships are huge, and I feel like even like with my students, I can see like the love in the hallways. Like, she's a tough cookie, but she loves them to death, and I love to see that as well. Okay, so what's your least favorite part?
My least favorite part would be, I love to say this is like the disrespect.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It's there, whether you like it or not.
I just like, you know, starting off, especially like a first year teacher, it really took a toll on me. I'm like, why don't they like me? Like, why aren't they listening to me? Yeah. So it took a while to like build respect, but even like with the respect in the classroom, there's still going to be, you know, every once in a while, like a kid not following directions, speaking out of turn, things they say to each other, things they say to me about me, like it does affect me. But I have to understand, like if they're kids, it's not a place. They're not trying to hurt me. They don't know how to react appropriately in those situations. So that's like the hardest part for me, is coming every day, is knowing that that could potentially happen.
But teachers are humans too. Like, we have feelings, and it's just happened that they don't know how to manage theirs, but we have to keep ours in check. But it still hurts sometimes, especially when you haven't done anything to disrespect them. So they're still trying to learn that respect. So never take it personal, because you're doing great. But it can take a toll on you, because we're humans too. What is your favorite ELA strategy, or like reading strategies to help students that are above or below grade level?
So in class, when we do like whole group reading, I like to do almost like popcorn reading. It's like pick up, so that way like it helps them like follow along and track. So if I'll start reading, and then I'll like say like, you know, so-and-so pick up. And that way I see if they're following along, if they're understanding. It keeps them on their toes. That really helps, especially with the high level readers, because they love to read. Yeah. And then with like the lower level readers, it also doesn't like put pressure on them, because like by the now, like we know the kids. So like we know like who can read certain parts, like when you get to it in the book. So even if you want to give them like a sentence to read, like to like push them, their friends are like there to help them. I really like doing that when we're doing like whole group read aloud. But even just like simple things, like when we do like small group, like strategies, like just incorporating games and things, like make it interesting for them, is like they're always excited to like go back to the small group table and like play a game. And that, just like getting them fun, like eager to learn.
That is differentiating at like to a T right there, especially because it's hard with reading, especially if kids don't enjoy it, so they don't put as much effort into it. Games are definitely a good one. How do you like to do your small groups?
So I do small groups like at the back table. The rest of the kids will be working on like independent work. I like to do small groups. It's all like differentiated with like what those kids need at that time to like meet their goal. So if it's like, you know, working on sounding out words, like we'll work on that together. If it's fluency, we're doing a lot of fluency practice. I would do that, try to do that like every day leading up to end of the year testing, really. Doing fluency with them, trying to get their rate up. And their confidence. I like to work on their confidence, because that's the biggest thing. They're afraid to say words wrong. And it's like, you're not gonna learn unless you try. So I'd rather you say all the words wrong than sit there and stare at me. So I would like to see like and they've gotten so much better, so.
Definitely. That was just an added question because I love teaching small groups. So to know that my students are going to have you next year, like, and continue that teaching a small group is great. So what keeps you motivated on the hard days? Like when a kid is just blatantly disrespectful in your face.
There definitely is hard days. So it's like something little can flick it in me that well, it can set me off, but then like that's like what keeps me motivated too. So like if I have a really bad day, like none of the kids are listening, I can't get my lesson done, but then like one thing can happen, like at the end of the day, like, you know, a kid goes out of their way to like say like have a good night, miss, or like gives me a hug. It's just like, okay, like today wasn't perfect, but there's a connection there, there's like a meaning there, and I show up every day for the kids. And like that's a really big thing. Like they expect me to be here every day, whether they like it or not, I'm here. And when I'm not here, like it like throws them for a loop. So that's like the thing. It's like I know like when I wake up in the morning, I'm gonna be getting hugs, and then I might get some faces when I tell them what we're doing that day. But that's what matters to me.
Definitely. I think your heart, like obviously like a paycheck, by the end of the day, making the impact. And like you said, it could be one thing that everything else didn't go right. Your lesson didn't go right, the kids aren't behaving right. By the end of the day, like knowing that you made a one difference in one child's life, or even just showing up some days could be a win, because consistency is key, especially with the students that we serve. So much things that they can't control that's going on, but to know that, hey, I know when I get to school to see a familiar face, like there's a routine and a structure there, I know that they appreciate that so much.
Yeah.
If you are a first year teacher out there or a fellow teacher, what is some advice that you would give to like a future teacher or fellow teacher?
I think the biggest issue I had this year is I'm incredibly hard on myself.
Perfectionist queen.
Give yourself grace. Not everything's gonna be perfect, especially your first year. There's gonna be bumps.
Wait, how did you get over that? Because I was like,
I don't think I'm over it, but like I think I'm just like willing to like take a step back and be like, okay, that wasn't perfect the first time, but like I can get it next time. Or like, you know, making a list in my head, like this didn't work great this year, so let me try something different next year. But it's like, that's the thing, you have to give yourself, like nothing is gonna be perfect the first day. Like I did have the expectation, like they walked in, they were gonna listen to everything I said, they were gonna like want to be like my best friend, but also respect me, like, and it slowly was just like, actually very quickly, was like, no, that's not how this is gonna go. So like you have to like adjust, and then it's like, I feel like I'm doing everything wrong. You like have to like give yourself grace. Like if you're showing up every day, that's the biggest part. Like you're showing up and you're teaching. You could tweak the ways how, but as long as you are there, like that is the biggest obstacle to overcome.
What would you tell a teacher who's not so good at their job, or is like struggling, just trying to with like classroom management and things like that? What would you tell other struggling teachers?
So if you're struggling with classroom management, I still struggle every single day. It takes time to build the relationships, and I kind of put it off. Like establishing routines. I'm like, no, like they know how to line up, they know how to sit in their seats, but it's like they need the expectations set, and I hold my kids to very high expectations. And that was something I'm like, at the beginning of the year, I'm like, I don't have to go over that. Like they can sit down, they can get in line. But it's like, no, like you need to drill this into them, and it needs to happen every year. No matter like what grade level you're teaching, like these are my expectations, these are how you're gonna meet them, and then this is how you're gonna get rewarded or be successful. Like I don't wanna send my fourth graders up to fifth grade not knowing how to do those basic things and not having respect. So I hold them to a very high standard, and sometimes they don't like me for it, but I know in the long run that is what will help them, not giving into everything, standing firm in a rule. So if like the rule is fun time isn't free time, fun time isn't until Friday, like that is the rule in the class, that is the expectation. If you are not talking during work, that is the expectation. That's like the biggest problem. Keep just trying to keep it engaging too, like games, competitions between classes. I do that a lot too.
Oh yeah.
So we just started Beat the Teacher. So I get points when they mess up, they don't do something right, and they get points when they follow our expectations. To keeping it fun.
And let me tell you, her classes are really competitive. We had a third grade versus fourth grade basketball game, and they got mad when I participated. So we're not gonna talk about that. But yeah, her class is really competitive as well. So basically, like sticking to like the guns or like the expectations, so that you hold them accountable, and like you said, you can hold each other accountable. I like that team competition thing, teacher versus student. The last but not least question is, since she's the queen of lesson planning, like what is your thought process when lesson planning, or like how do you go through with that?
My biggest thing is when I go through, like obviously we have this scripted curriculum. It's like, what do my kids need from this curriculum? What are they gonna understand first? And what do I need to take more time explaining to them? That's like kind of like the steps I go through. It's like, I know when I read it, it's like, nothing verbatim in this book is going to make sense to the kids. It's like just tweaking it to like once again, make it more fun and engaging. If I read off of that, if you did it too, like if we read off out of that book, the kids would be asleep. And I couldn't blame them. It's very boring. But yeah, like putting their needs, they don't know what this means, so like I need to take more time to go over it. Putting their wants in it too, like, okay, I know I'm gonna need to put like a brain break here to like refresh their energy, get them up, ready to go. It's just like knowing your kids, and then putting effort into every day that you come, because they deserve the best.
There you go. You just put a bow on everything.
Yeah.
She's amazing. Even her resources are pretty good, and the PowerPoints are like chef's kiss. I've learned a lot from her as well. Like even fellow first year teachers, like I've learned a lot. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. And if you're a fellow ELA teacher, I'd love to hear about that as well down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.